Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I'm going to do an ArtSnacks challenge. I have that scheduled for every second Monday, and my plan with that was by doing it on the second Monday, then hopefully I would always have time to receive the ArtSnacks box and still be able to stick to the schedule, and that's proven to be true so far because this month is the ArtSnacks birthday box, so they gave us an extra special custom item. That's this pencil case that I'm holding right now, but because it was specially made just for this box, it was delayed. It caused a delay for the shipment of the... I bet you can hear my cat Kiba meowing. Anyway, my box didn't arrive as early as it usually does, but it did still arrive in time for me to do my ArtSnacks challenge as scheduled, so I'm pretty happy about that. So, as you can see, the first thing that I got in my ArtSnacks box was a pencil case. I can't really use that to do the ArtSnacks challenge, but I thought I could at least have it on screen or something. What I did receive, that's going to be what I used to make my ArtSnacks challenge, is a pen, brown, a yellow marker, and a yellow and a purple huge colored pencil. Now, I haven't tried any of these yet, but so far these two really look the same in color, especially when I take the cap off and you compare. They look like the exact same color. So I had a little bit of trouble again this time, just like last time, where I was trying to figure out how to make the two colors appear. Last time it was how to make white watercolor show up when the paper I was given was a white paper. This time it's not that exact problem, but how to make the colored pencil show up and the marker show up so that they both look like they've been used. Excuse me. So I think I came up with a solution. First, the paper I'm going to use. Dang, my throat is suddenly really dry. I don't know what it is about this room that I've been in the past month or so, but it's just so dry in here. We have a humidifier going constantly, and I still just get super dry. Okay, I think I'm good now, though. My throat is like, stop spasming. Okay, so the paper I'm going to use is actually a card. I wasn't sure what paper to use, so I was just looking through my stock. I have tons of paper, and there were some that I considered because they were previous ArtSnacks papers and stuff like that, but when I saw these ones, I have just two of these left. I don't even know how old they are or what media they were originally, said to be good for, if it's just drawing media or what, but they feel at least like they should be able to handle a little bit of marker, and they should be just fine for a pen and colored pencil. I'm not going to draw on the envelope, but I just wanted to keep them together, because once I'm done with this, I think I will send it. I'll write a letter in it, and then send it to my best pen pal friend, who is also one of my Patreon supporters. So I'm gonna give her a little extra bonus. So I'm gonna set the envelope off to the side. When I was thinking about what I could do to use all of these materials and have them stand out each on their own to show that, yes, each ArtSnacks item was used from this box for this ArtSnacks challenge. I just Googled yellow and purple, and then that started, well, actually I Googled yellow and violet brought up flower pictures as in violets, not as in the color, but as in the flower called violet. But it was actually great because violets can be yellow and purple, and they look... I then switched from searching for violet to specifically searching for pansies, because, I mean, I'm no flower expert, but I'm pretty sure pansies are a type of violet, or they're related because they're extremely similar in shape. And so I found eventually a nice reference image that I'm mostly just going to use for the shape of the flower and then how the inside pattern of the flower is, because what I want to do is maybe have 3 or 4 flowers on here, maybe like one central one, and then there are just so many little cat hairs on my desk today. Okay, anyway, yeah, do one on the front, a big one, a big main one, and then, yeah, maybe like a couple for the back, just so that it's like, oh, you open it and it's a complete art piece or something. I could do it like this too. I was feeling it like this though. So I just want the general shape, because I cannot with just these colors get this beautiful variety of color, even though you look at this picture and you're like, oh, it's yellow and purple, but actually, like, the yellow and the purple are intermingling and they're fading into one another, and there's like pinks, and there's such bright areas that it's like white, and I'm not going to be able to get that much variety. I can at least keep the middle of the flower where the pollen is. Those are white. I could try not to color those. What I was thinking was, in order to use the yellows, the 2 different yellows, of course I'm just going to draw and detail the flowers with this brown pen. Then I thought I would use the colored pencils exclusively inside the flower. So I won't use the marker inside the flower, and I also won't use the colored pencils outside the flower. And then for the marker, I could use it to fill in space where there's no flower and just do different designs. I was thinking mostly like hatching, to just fill in space and add some interest and let the marker do something that isn't going to be covered up or obscured by the colored pencils, since I've got like the exact same color in marker and colored pencil. So if I use this colored pencil on the marker, you're not going to be able to tell which was which, or you might not even ever be able to tell that I used marker underneath the pencil, etc. So that's all what I was thinking. Let's start drawing. I got a pencil and eraser at first, because for my rules for doing an ArtSnacks challenge, I do allow myself a pencil and eraser to do the initial sketch. But I think I'm gonna just let this be more organic and let the lines come as they will, and just start drawing with ink and not worry about it being too perfect or clean. So I think what I want to do for this one that's going to be the big main one on the front, I'm going to draw it at an angle so that when the card is straight up, it's kind of, the face is kind of like this. So there's this central part, and there's a leaf that comes out, well, a petal that comes out, then two that come out on top of that, and then two more even bigger come out on top of that. So I need to make sure not to draw this one too big. And they actually do have like a little bit of wavering texture on the edges, and down at the bottom sort of like a cleft. So if it was thinking about maybe splitting off into two different petals, but it couldn't really dedicate itself to that idea. So I'm going to outline the way this pansy has these really dark sort of veins coming out from the middle. So I'm going to outline that. I'm not trying to follow the reference image too closely because since I'm just going to use this one flower as the reference for all the flowers I draw on this page, I want them to look different from one another. So I need to make sure some of this is just coming from my imagination, or else they'll look too similar. And then you can even sort of see like these veins coming down like this for these big ones. One petal down. Now see, this part is the middle. It's almost like a circle right here. I don't want to actually draw it though because it's just yellow and white, so I want to, as long as it works out like that, just use the colored pencil, the yellow colored pencil, and then leave some white paper. I'm going to start the next petal about here, and it ends maybe here. It comes out and up, and then it's got these wavering edges in there. Interestingly, there is a flower I can see in the background of this picture, another of the same, and it seems to be doing the same thing I'm seeing on this one, which is it's not petal and then this row of petals and then this row is in the back behind those. It goes, this one is in front, then this one comes in front, then this one on the side is tucked behind this top one that I haven't drawn yet, and then finally the very top back row is behind everything back here. So because of that, I'm going to draw this top one first. So it starts right around here and ends. Maybe I should fill in this dark stuff first. Yeah, I'm trying to embrace the challenge, but I can't deny that I'm a bit disappointed to get two of the same color, even if they're technically a different medium. I just would rather work with 3 different colors. Because even if it's a different medium, if it's the same color, it's just, I don't know. But that's why it's a challenge. That's why it's the ArtSnacks challenge. Okay, I needed to draw these because it makes it easier to gauge where the petal needs to end by having these lines to use as reference. So it needs to end right around here. Start it here, and this is just like almost like just one big circle. I'm trying to get that wavering edge. Okay. Now at this rate, I don't think this one's even going to fit on the page, but hopefully I can fit this one, and then I don't mind if it comes off a bit. This will come in like that, and it ends maybe around here. I want to try and make sure it comes out the same amount as its neighbor. This one, now I need to make sure that it looks like it's going behind this real big one. So that's the whole point that I was drawing this one for, is to make them look like they're all overlapping. Okay. Well, the way the reference photo is, I can't really fit in this other petal here, but I could just make it work for this picture. squished them up a little bit so that they'll fit. And these are, they do have some of these veins, but you can barely see them, so I'm just going to do a couple little lines to indicate that, but not really very much. Okay, let's start coloring. I think I'm going to start with purple. These back petals, the only yellow is just barely at the bottom and the rest is all purple, so I'm just going to start filling it all in. Never used such huge colored pencils before. I want to make sure to draw these strokes or color in the same direction as those veins. I'm also just starting super light. You can always make it darker later, more heavy color later. Let's do this petal the same way. Something that it recommended on the ArtSnacks menu for this box, which is a good reminder. I'm aware of it already since I use colored pencils and ink together so often, but you got to get all the ink work done first and then do the colored pencils, because if you try to do the ink on top of the colored pencils, it's just going to sort of bead up if it comes out at all, and then it's just going to smear because the wax in the colored pencils, the ink can't get through it. So, speaking of that, I'm going to fill these in here before I forget. These are actually supposed to be super, super dark. This is taking a little while because this pen is really thin. The nib is only 0.3 millimeters. So that takes a long time to fill in a larger area. There. Okay, back to this purple. It's a little purple patch right here at the bottom. And then these petals are mostly purple, but they have a lot more yellow than the top ones. Okay, I'm going to switch to the yellow. See what kind of yellow this is. It looks pretty much exactly like the lead. I've had colored pencils where it doesn't look like the lead, which is super weird. Yeah, this is the point where I'm gonna just leave some white spots. And this yellow is covering nicely, so the white should really stand out where I'm leaving it. It's a sort of A-shaped area. I'm just gonna leave it white. I'm not gonna draw anything else. Let's add the yellow to these petals as well. And this petal, it's just barely some yellow right here. Okay, so the basic color blocking is done. Now, just time to make the color more deep. I'm going to leave the edges, all the edges of these petals have sort of a bright line of highlight, or even brighter, I don't want to say white, but it's just much lighter in color near the edges. So I'm going to try to get that effect with the way I use the colored pencil. This purple is actually a great color for this brown Copic multi-liner. They're working really well together. Go to this one. There's actually a lot more variation in color on this reference photo, the pansy in this reference photo. But I need some blue and pink colored pencils as well to get those shades. I want to make sure to really get along these lines so that I don't have that sort of like ghosty look that can happen if you don't color with purpose next to the lines, and then there ends up being just like a white line where there's no colored pencil. I don't want that. I want the color to look like it's continuing on behind this petal. Okay, let's move down. I saw some other people's ArtSnacks boxes because they post pictures, and there were so many colors of colored pencil and everything. So many colors of marker, so many colors of colored pencil. Just sort of adds to my disappointment that I got two of the same color. I'm like, yeah, one is colored pencil, one is marker, but they were like, I saw at least a red and a blue colored pencil, and I don't remember the other marker colors, but there were definitely more options. Like at least last month, with the white paint on white paper deal, everybody got a white sample paper, and there were only 2 color combinations you could have gotten. Well, maybe 4, but anyway, there were only 4 total colors you could have gotten, so there was a really high chance of getting white. so that was more understandable. But this time there's not that kind of excuse. Just can't help being disappointed. Of course, it's probably the only time I'll ever have to use these colors together, because unless I draw them for a lucky dip, which could happen, but chances are low, since I have so many supplies to draw from for that. So hopefully this is the only time I have to try and use the exact same color between a marker and a colored pencil, and somehow get them both to show. I'm really liking how this is coming out. It's too bad it's really washed out on my camera. Well, when I post the scan version, I'll be able to see it better. And when I take a picture of it and show what I did today, it'll even show it better in that than on this camera. If only I could get the awesome technology that's in my phone, get that in a webcam. But of course I'd probably have to pay like 7 times more than what I did for this current camera, so I can't afford that anyway. Just gonna keep layering, keep adding, keep looking at the reference photo to see where I could add more and get variety. I think I'll do a little soft purple in here. I'm just going to do a few little lines. This purple colored pencil can give some texture to the white area. Hopefully without overwhelming it. I really like the color effect I'm getting where the purple and the yellow colored pencil are covering one another. Looks cool. Trying to do some lines to keep that look at those veins going, even though they're less easy to see up here on the back leaves. I keep calling them leaves, I mean petals. trying to get some really dark purple here to show that this petal is the very backmost one. I think this is pretty much the limit of how dark it can get though. This little spot, there are like no particles of the page showing behind it. It's not getting any darker than that. This purple is actually the perfect color to get this effect that I'm seeing where these dark lines are really close together and all touching. It has like a glowing red around it is what I see. So adding the purple on top of the yellow in those areas, it's like the perfect color, the perfect effect. Get that same look. Now I'm just trying to use the purple to show which petal is behind which. I'm not really following the reference image for this. Just want to make sure that this one looks like it's in the front, then this one, then this one, then this one, this one. This purple is perfect for this yellow colored pencil, which is perfect for making what looks like shadow on top of the yellow. If only I could have just had a different color marker. Any color, any other color. Just not the same as the colored pencils that I also got. think that's as much as I can do with the colored pencils. As a reference image, there's just so much difference in shade. These petals are much cooler in tone. They're a really cool violet. And then these ones are like this color, except for there's more of that cool tone up here. And then down here, it's surprising because it goes back to the super cool colored violet up here, but they're all the same color. So there's not, since I only have one color to work with, there's not really much else I can do to differentiate each petal from one another. I've got the edges showing nicely because of doing darker towards the middle or towards where they meet, and then just leaving it nice and light and hardly colored around the edge. So now I'm going to use this brush, or maybe I'll use a broad tip. This is a double-ended marker if you couldn't tell. So there's this brush tip. There's also a chisel tip. I think I'll use a chisel tip. That's what I was thinking, was just doing some simple lines, nothing too I just want the marker to have a chance to show off. Whew, my Copic Classic markers don't stink, but this one dang does. Maybe it's just because it's really new. It's nice and juicy, not dry like some cheaper brand stuff. That's why Copic is the best. I just took the cap off of this end to put it on this end. I forgot I need to put this cap on. So this actually is a much different color on the page than the yellow colored pencil. So that's good, but they're still close enough that if I would have used this colored pencil on top of it, this would have gotten lost underneath it. I think I kind of just want to do something more to this outside using the pen. I want the outside of the flower to stand out a little bit more. Because now with that yellow marker, it's kind of getting lost. Just doing a rough outline. I'm on purpose trying to do not exactly the same outline. Because I want to sort of take up more real estate, and visually that should make it stand out more. Oh yeah, that did exactly what I wanted. Alright, so now I wanted to do the back. But I don't know if I want to do... If you're hearing a bunch of noise, Kiki's making some racket. My cat, Kiki. I don't know if I just want to do this same thing again on the back. That's kind of boring. I'm trying to think what else I might want to do. It's actually kind of hard to think right now. I'm just exhausted. I'm still exhausted. I'm not getting good sleep every day. I just can't think. You should just leave it like this. Not do anything on the back. Because this is definitely using all of the ArtSnacks. Maybe what I'll do is fill in some of these little areas with some little dots. Maybe what I'll do is just take the marker and continue this bunch of lines. Just continue this idea onto the back. Yeah, I think I like that better. Just fill in the rest of the card with a simple pattern. Let's do the little dots I was doing. in areas where there's a little extra white space. Okay, I'm going to continue this too. I'm going to have it take up even more space. The lines start where the petals meet each other, sort of, but then balloon out. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to have it take up even more room each time. And these ones I'll take all the way onto the back. I think this helps give this pansy the more energy, a more energetic look, because the way I did the background ended up looking really vibrant, and it's got this repetition and it just looks really energetic. And the pansy was just like, it didn't look like it matched because it was just kind of there, stationary. Like, why is it here in this vibrant sort of almost like, it's almost like music. This pattern is like dun 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 dun. So adding this outline is really helping this fit in to this environment that I've created. So I'm going to take it out a little further. This time I'm going to start it out not here anymore. I'm going to start it out here so that I'm not drawing more lines in these areas. You can really balloon it out here. Huge, huge. Yeah, I'm really liking that now. Because I did want it to take up this whole thing, but thinking of it as a card, which I'm going to send, a greeting card where I've written a message inside, putting this much effort as I put into here onto the back. I mean, normally cards don't even have any artwork on the back. They just have, you know, copyright information or whatever, published by so-and-so. Like that looks. So you can tell this is the main event here. And on the back it's still interesting. I think I'm just gonna finish this with one more set of lines right here. And right here. Yeah. I'm happy with this solution. I just feel so exhausted today. I didn't feel the energy to draw another one of these flowers. And then when I started thinking about it, putting putting another one, even if it was smaller, of this much detail, I wanted the attention to be on the front no matter what. And I think this is a much better solution than just having a bunch of floating flowers in a field of like abstract stuff. So maybe I will just do a little bit more colored pencil so I can feel sure that this flower can stand up to the really energetic background that I've ended up giving it. Just want it to feel complete. I want it to feel like I've definitely put in a reasonable amount of effort. I'm pleased with how this card has worked out, whatever kind of paper it's made out of. It's working really well for these colored pencils, and the marker applied really well. It did bleed through, but I kind of expected that based on how heavy this paper feels. I was sure it was going to bleed through. So since I expected it, I wasn't disappointed. That's the good thing about this yellow marker, because even though it's bled through, if I write with a black pen to write my message in here to my friend, it's not going to really be too distracting. If that had been a blue marker or something like a dark blue marker, that would be a different story. I erased outside. I drew outside the lines a bit. I'm going to erase it. Didn't mean to. Dang it, I did it again. Oh, that one was really small. Yeah, I still would have preferred to get 3 different colors instead of 2 of the same. And then one actually, I mean, I guess at least I didn't get 2 yellow colored pencils, but at least I have managed to make it work. So I'm proud of that. So I think I've beat the challenge. Challenge being use all the supplies in the box, and I interpret that as make it look like each supply has been used, not just, oh, technically I used it for one single line right here. Now I want to make sure that it's clear that I've put in thought and tried my best to make sure that each utensil shines each application. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good for my ArtSnacks challenge. I'm going to sign it with this brown pen. Sign right here. Or can't sign in the flower now. Yeah, I'll just sign right here. Yay, sweet. I think that turned out good. So I use the brown pen for all these lines, for these dark areas right here. I used the purple and yellow colored pencil for the color on the pansy. I really like how that purple made this shadowed area. Looks really good on top of the yellow. And then finally, I use this yellow marker to give it this really vibrant, energetic background all the way onto the back. So I've used everything evenly. I even used both ends of the marker. So I think that's good. I think that's good for today. My ArtSnacks challenge didn't take me as long as my normal streaming window, but I think I can call it an early day. So that's it for my ArtSnacks challenge for March. I'll be doing it again next month for April. Thank you for watching.